The Greg Kelly Show.
Wow. Man, the hits keep rolling. Some wild stuff. Goodbye, Joe Biden. This was not a surprise. I predicted it 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I said categorically he will not be the nominee. I knew it. I could see it. Anybody with common sense. I do have a few questions. I think this may have been the plan all along. And it's one of the reasons why they stuck him out there to fail in that debate, because they knew he would fail and they wanted him gone. This is the Democrat Party. They say all the time they judge people by the color of their skin. What is less cool these days than an older white man? Huh? I don't feel that way. I don't look at the world that way. There are a million reasons to not like Joe Biden, but the white man part, I don't think, older white man, well, happens to be Joe Biden can't. He's got senility. He's got something. It's not the age. It's the brain. Okay. So he puts out that letter, or does he? Or does he? We haven't seen Joe Biden since, I think, last Thursday. What in the hell is going on? You don't make an announcement like that without making an announcement. You just put out a letter. Anybody could have written that letter. I've been hearing for weeks now that Joe Biden has no path. No path. Democrats have been saying it. There's no path to victory. And don't forget, Donald Trump beat Joe Biden. He beat a bullet. He beat a bad case. He beat 50 Republicans coming after him. He beat the deep state. He beat the media, and he beat Joe Biden. Joe Biden, with all the advantages of incumbency, with all that crap, meeting world leaders, sitting down for ceremony after ceremony. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has got to get booked in Atlanta, booked in New York City, booked in Florida, all over the place. Courtroom sketches, that fake trial here in Lower Manhattan, a convicted felon, right? Stormy Daniels, all the rest of the nonsense. And he beat Biden. This is a great testament to a couple of things. Number one, Donald Trump, of course. The determination, the resilience, the commitment to America. It's absolutely beautiful. And this shows that the people are amazing. The people of this country get it. They can see through all of the nonsense, all of the noise, and they understand what's happening. I love that about the American people, don't you? About all of us? Oh, it's an amazing thing. And I have very, very, very grave questions as to the culpability of the Biden administration and what happened last Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you seen this Secret Service director? She's crazy. She's crazy if she thinks she can get away with this. In typical bureaucrat style, you think a bureaucratic excuse is going to suffice? That's what the deep state is saying. Just go out there and say nothing. Speak in generalities. She even said that. I can't speak to specifics. I can only speak in generalities. What? What the hell happened? What happened? You can't give us the basic facts. I live in New York City. There's a shooting. There's a murder of interest. I remember my dad, Ray Kelly, 6 hours after a shooting, even if it was a controversial shooting, he'd come out and he'd answer the questions from the media, right? People have a right to know. This is still a democracy, supposedly. This is still, the government works for us, not the other way around. And for this arrogant, silly woman, what's her name? Kimberly Cheatle, to be above it all like this? She's not accountable to us. She says she's going to remain on the job. And meanwhile, she's saying nothing, zero of any substance whatsoever. And there's one little silver lining, though, to all of this stuff. One little silver lining. For the first time in a long time, I see Republicans and Democrats working together on the same team. They're on the same page. And this kind of incompetence, it's possibly beyond incompetence. I have raised some critical questions about Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, their public comments about President Trump, and I want to know what kind of contact they had with this person. Kimberly Cheatle worked for the Cheneys directly for 6 years. Liz Cheney, in her book, says time and time again how close she is to the Secret Service. They're like family to me. Well, did you possibly convince somebody in the Secret Service that the oath of office that they take to protect and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, somehow necessitated something along these lines? It's not a preposterous question at all. In fact, it's a necessary and important one. The stuff that the Cheneys said about Donald Trump, it's like they were begging the deep state to assassinate Donald Trump. Some highlights from this thing so far. Kimberly Cheatle, who is still outrageously the director of the Secret Service. Cut 16, please.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof.
All right,
at its highest point.
Stop. I want to go to the, we heard her say that. She told ABC News more information, by the way, and CNN more information than she's giving the American people right now. All right, this is from this morning. She's in front of the House Oversight Committee, and they're all patriots, Republicans and Democrats alike on this committee so far, at least on this issue. Cut 17.
Did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure, as you can imagine, that we are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation. And so I want to make sure that any information that we are providing to you is factual.
You can't, okay.
9 days out? 9 days out? What's the problem? You don't know that by now? If you don't, you should be fired. If you do and you're not saying, you should be fired. If there wasn't to begin with, you should be fired. This is the kind of thing, it's the Biden administration forte, really. No accountability. Afghanistan, nobody lost their jobs. The same stupid people have the same very big and important jobs. Next, please, cut 18.
Why did the Secret Service can you answer why the Secret Service didn't place a single agent on the roof?
We are still looking into the advanced process and the decisions that were made.
Well, okay.
She won't say a damn thing. Not a god. Cut 19, please.
I have no doubt that the processes that I have implemented during my tenure as director, in addition to my nearly 30 years of experience in this agency, have positioned the Secret Service to be stronger. Our mission is not political. It is literally a matter of life and death.
Yeah, right. This is hiding behind the good men and women, right? You can't question me. Otherwise, you're questioning the proud men and women, the brave men and women of the Secret Service. They do this all the time. Evil bureaucrats hide behind the men and women of the Secret Service, the men and women of the Pentagon, the men and women of the State Department, the men and women of the Department of Agriculture. Shut up. They're not special. They're not any better. Yeah, even heroes are capable of incompetence. Cut 20, please. Cut 20.
I am proud beyond words of the actions taken by the former president's detail, the counter-sniper team who neutralized the gunman, and the tactical team who was prepared to act.
Proud beyond words. Proud beyond words. But she won't tell us. For instance, she talked to the sniper who took the assassin out, would-be assassin. She talked to him. And she won't tell us when that guy first observed crooks on the roof. She won't tell us who the agent in charge was. She won't tell us about the advance work. She won't tell us about she won't tell us a damn thing. You want to go live to it? Well, actually, first, you want to see how a law enforcement professional handles a dynamic situation, okay? Not stonewalling like that, but actually telling the public what they need to know, right? Telling the public what they need to hear. And you don't wait. It doesn't matter. 9 days. How about 90 minutes is about enough time. So this is all the way back. My dad's police commissioner, and there was a big shooting at the Empire State Building. Cops killed somebody. The guy killed the maniac shooter, wounded a couple of people. And there might have been a mistake. Some of the cops who were opening fire, one of those guys may have wounded somebody. And these things happen in the big city. And you don't run and hide and have to be subpoenaed to talk to the city council 10 days later. You just come out and you tell the truth. It's a really simple concept that is so foreign to the deep state. Hey, Secret Service, deep state, this is how it's supposed to be done when you recognize your responsibility is to the people and not to yourselves and job protection and self-preservation. Go ahead, please. Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to stress that what we have is preliminary information and it's an ongoing investigation, of course. At 9:03 this morning, in front of 10 West 33rd Street, a disgruntled former employee of a company at that address shot and killed a former co-worker, striking him 3 times. The subject, Jeffrey Johnson, age 53, then fled eastbound on West 33rd Street. to Fifth Avenue when he walked northbound along the curb line with a .45 caliber handgun secreted in a black bag that he had under his arm.
Stop. How's this for detail, right? You say what you got. What the hell would you hold this back for? Oh, by the way, the guy is dead. Crooks is dead. No one's going to be charged for the pulling the trigger, although other people may for dereliction of duty. Hell, if you can haul Alec Baldwin into court, I think you can haul Secret Service Director Cheatle here. Keep going.
A construction worker who had followed Johnson from West 33rd Street alerted two uniformed police officers who were on post in front of the Empire State Building's Fifth Avenue entrance.
All right, you get it? You get it? This is how it's supposed to work. Meanwhile, we have this dunce. Maybe she's just playing a dunce. Let's go. We can go. Let's go live to Capitol Hill. U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle still on the stand, saying not a damn thing.
The incident are never isolated. I really believe these incidents are never isolated. And I know Detroit Free Press had reported that the 20-year-old Pennsylvania shooter looked up the 2021 Oxford High School shooting in Michigan.
Rashid Tlaib, uh-oh.
Can you comment on what information this shooter was looking up regarding the tragedy of Oxford High School, where it took 4 of our high school youth there?
I'm sorry, I'm not able to. The FBI has those details.
So you can't even tell us, I mean, was he looking at the type of weapon? How many?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have those details.
Do you have, I mean, did they share that with you, though?
I don't have the full content of what his searches were. I think that they are still in the process of examining all of his devices.
Okay. Again, the impact, I want to be really serious about this. The impact on our families is more than just this political rally, Mr. Chair. We have to talk about this, even if we're in disagreement. Let's talk about it, because I've seen statistics that show that we could be saving lives now if we ban these weapons of war from being able to buy it at the local store down the street. I mean, we just can't continue to allow this to happen. And unfortunately, my residents are not former presidents of the United States. They don't get a hearing. They don't get Secret Service, any of that.
All right, that's Rashid Tlaib. Now, she's trying to make a big point about gun control, but she's asking reasonable questions as well. They all are. The gun control part. All right, now we're going back to the Republican side. Ready? Let's turn up the volume now.
On the roof of the AGR International building, as we know. Was the roof identified as a potential vulnerability days before the rally?
To my knowledge, yes, it was.
Were agents or officers inside the building? If so, what floor were they on?
We had local police officers inside the building.
The roof looks like it's a tin roof. How did no one inside that building hear someone moving on top of a metal roof?
I don't have the details of all of the interviews that have been conducted yet.
When will you have those?
I have been asking, and I want to have that information as soon as you do as well.
Okay, why did Secret Service fail to block the line of sight from that roof?
I think that the Secret Service put together a plan where they were counting that roof in as part of their overwatch, and that was the plan that they had put in place that day.
If you weren't going to put a security personnel on the roof, why not at least use drone technology or aerial surveillance to monitor the rally?
There are a number of times that we do use drone technology. I'm not speaking specifically to this event and what was utilized or not. There are times when drone technology is available and helpful at events, and there are times when it is not appropriate.
Do y'all use Signal? Do you personally use Signal to communicate with any official from the White House? Signal on your phone?
On occasion, I'm sure that there are people that use Signal, yes.
Okay. Do you use it to speak with the White House? Use Signal?
No, I do not.
Okay. When was Thomas Crooks first identified as a person of interest? Let me help you. At 5:10. He was spotted with a rangefinder at 5:51. And when did Secret Service notice him?
Again, I don't have those specific timelines, but it was a relatively short period of time.
Let me help you. 5:52. Ms. Cheatle, why was President Trump allowed on stage 10 minutes after the Secret Service spotted a suspicious individual? That seems to me to be the worst thing of all. Of all the breakdown in all this communication, all the BS you've been feeding us here today or not feeding us, that seems to be the question.
So as I've stated before, there are a number of events where suspicious people may be identified That doesn't necessarily.
Ma'am, I submit to you, you got a guy who's going to be the next president of the United States. He's on stage. I've been to these events. We've all been to these events. A car backfires, and there's a 15-minute dadgum wait. That's not acceptable. Did the Secret Service tell President Trump they'd spotted a suspicious individual before he was shot?
I am unclear as to what the communication was with the former president at that
I'll
time.
take that as a no. Did y'all deny President Trump's request?
All right, we're going to go back to this. It's amazing what's happening. It's absolutely amazing. And I got some more dynamite stuff and some real heroes down there. Congresswoman Mace, and he's right about they're hiding also behind this. He was suspicious, but he wasn't a threat. He wasn't upgraded to a threat. You got to be upgraded to a threat for them to take the president out of there. You know, the Secret Service to cancel the event or at least suspend it for a few minutes. But he was only considered suspicious. This guy, Crooks, he wasn't considered a threat. That's like a formal designation that, let me guess, you got to get some supervisor's approval for, right? That sounds about right in our CYA dysfunctional, corrupt government, doesn't it? Be right back.
Greg Kelly. This is the Greg Kelly Show.
All right. Lots of things going on. I don't think it's a big deal, although maybe it is. Nancy Pelosi just came out and endorsed Kamala Harris, for president. Yeah, I guess she's a real powerhouse, right? She's the one who got Biden to get the hell out. How did they get Biden to drop out? And did he drop out? I mean, where the hell is he? Boebert, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert wants to hear from that guy. Wants to see him. I want to see him. She calls it proof of life. Where the hell is he? What happened? You can't just make a statement like that. Something of that gravity. You know, Richard Nixon came. We didn't know he resigned until he came out and said, "I hereby resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow." And then there was Lyndon Johnson. "I will not seek, nor will I accept my party's nomination for another term to be your president." You got to see it from the guy's mouth, and we haven't seen it. We have heard from Frank Biden. Oh, apparently Frank is drunk dialing the networks. Did you hear about that? All right. We got some explosive stuff from this hearing. Joe Biden getting out of the race isn't really explosive because we knew it. The way they did it, however, and the way they're doing it, is it a coup? It has a lot in common with coups. I don't do coups, but apparently Democrats do coups.
You're listening to the Greg Kelly Show.
Hey, off topic. But if you're a fan of the Godfather movie, you need to do yourself a favor. Give yourself a treat. Google Greg Kelly Godfather. Greg Kelly, the Godfather. Try that. And on YouTube will pop up about 5 stories that I did when I was at the Good Day New York show. And I went all over New York finding the locations from the movie, The Godfather. I went to the Corleone house on Staten Island. At the time, it was owned by the great Norton family. And they were there when the movie was filmed. They had all kinds of incredible artifacts. They welcomed me into their home. It was just an amazing treat to meet them and see the house and the wedding in the backyard. I found the conference room where the 5 families met. That was awe-inspiring. It's a modern building in the a modern day conference room now in the Helmsley building. What else did I do? I found the restaurant where Salazzo was killed by Michael and the police captain, McCluskey. It's a fabric store in the Bronx now. Let's see, what else did I do? The regular places, the church, the one on Staten Island, and a few other places. The hotel, the Edison Hotel, where Luca Brasi gets whacked. Places like that. Anyway, Greg Kelly, Godfather. If you Google it, some amazing stories are going to pop up. I don't like that Barack Obama is basically running the country. Do you? That Obama is pulling the strings? That whatever happened to the people figuring these things out? and they're just going to install Kamala Harris. They think they're going to install her as president? Look, Donald Trump is winning in the polls. He's beating all these fake cases. He's beating bullets. He's beat Biden. But they're not done. They are not done. Not by a long shot are they done. Here's something really odd. I can't really get my hands around this. So back in 2020, we have this clip of Biden in 2020, right, when they ask him this question about what will you do if there are policy differences between you and Kamala Harris and other people. And the question goes on for a bit. Listen to what the hell he says, okay? It kind of predicts what happened. Go ahead.
But I told Barack, if I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign. We don't have that. We haven't, and we discussed it.
Ooh, develop some disease and I'll have to resign. Well, he developed some disease, COVID. We haven't seen him, and he says he's not going to be the nominee. He's leaving after telling everybody, I'm in this race to win it. Remember that? Can I hear that one more time, please?
But I told Barack, if I reach something where there's a fundamental disagreement we have based on a moral principle, I'll develop some disease and say I have to resign. We don't have that. We haven't, and we discussed it.
Is that the agreement that he had with Barack Obama? What is it about Barack Obama? Why is everybody so impressed? Why the hell is he still in Washington, D.C.? You know how, weird it is that he would remain in Washington, D.C.? He's got a great big house. The initial story was, I have to stay here so Sasha can finish school. Well, she finished school 4 years ago. All right? Get the hell out of D.C. And this has been a tradition. Like the two-term tradition for a while. Washington, the only exception being, what's his name, FDR. The tradition was get the hell out of Washington, D.C. because there could be conflicting loyalties and there can't be two presidents. He stayed there the entire time of Trump. And there now. What was that all about? What is it all about? This hearing is, I guess they took a break. The stuff that we just saw, and one of the heroes of it was Mace is her name, Mace, M-A-C-E. There's something. I just love it when Democrats and Republicans work together. Not always, but they're on the same page here, except for that, what's her name? Crockett. Crockett is trying to say that maybe because the shooter was white, the Secret Service looked the other way. By the way, just about all presidential assassins have been young men, young white men. All right. If the Secret Service profile anybody, all right, they actually do develop a profile, and they also develop a profile that most of these guys work alone. But I want to hear this. This is Congresswoman Mace. Very attractive, by the way. That doesn't mean anything, but she's the first female graduate of the Citadel, and she has just had it because all this woman does, the director of the Secret Service, who has not been fired, shows up and doesn't answer a thing. Go ahead.
Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question. Yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible...
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure? Yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent? Yes or no?
I have always been
yes or no. You didn't want to answer the question.
Committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's playbook and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political? Yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bull. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m., a solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Chairman, I want to.
Come on.
We have to maintain decorum in this committee, no matter how
upset we get. Have you provided any and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
that. That is a no. You are being dishonest or lying. You're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay. And you have said you don't know, you have no idea. Well, the answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for. So, was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
training, execution, or both. Which one?
I think those are answers.
All right. How many Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump?
Our personnel are currently operational. We are examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
Of course. 9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying
57 minutes.
Why the hell can't we get these questions answered? What the hell is going on? Why? I'll tell you another thing. What's revealed here to me is she's a captive of her agency. You go up there, they have all these lawyers and they've got these PR people and they've got congressional liaisons, and they game this out. They run a scheme. Like, how do we tell them nothing yet appear cooperative? Yet these people are obviously savvy enough, and so is the American people. We know when we're being given the runaround. She said a bunch of, I can't speak to specific. Well, hey, by the way, who the hell is the FBI? She is the co-equal of the FBI. She's the director of the Secret Service. The Secret Service is an agency within the Department of Treasury. The FBI, it's an agency within the Department of Justice. There's a director of the FBI. There's a director of the Secret Service. This person is very, very unsophisticated as well. All right. So she comes out of the middle of Iowa, and the first job she ever has is for the Secret Service. Does that sound great? It doesn't sound so great to me. You got to have law enforcement experience before you get a job at the Secret Service. That's number one. They got to fix that right away. Hey, all this crap, by the way, we learned it in 1963 after JFK was shot and killed. You know that, right? All these damn recommendations. You know what's in there? What are the first things in the Warren Commission? Better liaison with local law enforcement. How about that? Here we are again. The great, big, stupid, deep state doesn't even know what it knows. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. It is. And these people, they think they are so important. They don't have to answer to us. How the hell do you go to Capitol Hill? Look, I know that most of these members of Congress are silly, but it is the system we got. We elect them and they represent us. And it more or less, in theory, it works. Too often it doesn't. This is one of the rare times where it's actually all coming together. Democrats and Republicans working together to find out the truth. And, of course, the permanent deep state government not giving us the truth. It is amazing and sad and very, very sad. I want to do this other thing, if you don't mind. Before we do this, Nancy Pelosi endorsed, really, do they think they can pull another fast one on us? Kamala Harris, we've been watching her for, 3.5 years now. She's a goofy, silly person. She can't keep a speechwriter on her staff. Donald Trump, they had him under so much, taking in so much incoming from the outside. This woman has been in politics her entire adult life, and she can't put together a political staff. You can look it up. And there's all kinds of, she can't, she's one of these crazy people who yells and throws stuff and, get out of my office. She's a screamer. That's not anti-woman. It's anti-Kamala. It's okay to be anti-Kamala. So the big sweepstakes right now is who's going to be your vice president. I wouldn't go too far down that road. I want to see I'm already seeing polls right now that says she's trailing in every single swing state. This is not a done deal by any means. By any means. I still say she's going to be the number 2 to Michelle. Michelle's going to come in. And Barack, I don't like having an unelected guy just hanging around calling the shots over my life and yours. Do you? Be right back.
Greg Kelly. You're listening to The Greg Kelly Show.
Hey, I didn't know Lauren Boebert was on this committee. Pump up the volume. I got to hear Lauren Boebert, okay? Oh, wait. Did we just lose her? Oh, we just lost her. I got to hear that later. She is amazing.
Was any contact ever made with him?
Not to my knowledge.
Is that the standard protocol for someone who is identified as suspicious?
The protocol would be to locate the individual and
you said that he was located 2 to 5 times approximately?
No, I said that the information was passed potentially somewhere between 2 to 5
And he was
times.
never located by an agent?
To my knowledge, that individual was not located by an agent.
We have dozens of rally goers who have identified him and not one agent on the ground. There are many, many, many agents on the ground, local law enforcement, Secret Service. No one was able to identify him and have sights on and see him.
What I'm saying is that the agents that were on the ground at the time, I have no knowledge that they were able to interview him or locate him.
Thank you. Was there a local law enforcement officer who approached the roof and saw the shooter?
Is this Lauren Boebert? It doesn't sound like her, actually.
That is the information.
All right, it's her. She sounds.
Have you spoke to that local law enforcement officer?
No, I have not.
Are you going to?
It is part of a criminal investigation that the FBI is interviewing those individuals.
Were agents stationed on the water tower?
No.
Why?
That would not be something that would be included in a security plan.
Has the man who is reported to have been present wearing a gray suit who allegedly requested a photo of the dead body of the assassin on top of the AGR roof been identified?
I don't have that information.
Is that something that you've heard of?
No.
Oh, my God.
ATF
all right. She's clueless.
Present?
She doesn't know a damn thing. And this is it. This is it. Unbelievable. I know all about this guy in the gray suit. And it's not like I read it on some blog. Senator Ron Johnson has the information, okay? Clueless. Let's see here. Robert, hello. Yes.
Great show today, Greg. Thanks for taking my call. Has the recovered bullet with Trump's blood on it been matched to Crooks's gun yet? And is anybody going to ask that question?
I don't know if it's been asked yet. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know where anybody was sitting in the stands back there, right? Where the hell is that? Where is the diagram? Where were they sitting? So, yeah, I don't think that's been. Hey, by the way, some of these lawmakers are frustrating me. I mean, their heart's in the right place, but they don't have the technical expertise, a lot of them, to be asking the right questions, like that question right there. So, I'd like to know that. And she's like, well, the FBI, the FBI, the FBI, the FBI, the FBI. And we know what we think of the FBI. I don't know if you know what you think of the FBI, Robert, but I can't stand the FBI, and I don't trust the FBI. You know what I mean?
Not since Lon Haruchi shot Randy Weaver's 3-month-old baby in his mother's arms have I been able to. Not since John F. Kennedy was shot, they're mopping this up. This is a cover-up, I think.
What I want to know, and I want to tell you, Robert, what I'm thinking right now, okay? This woman has been on the staff of Dick Cheney. She was protecting Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney has said out loud that Donald Trump is the greatest threat any person has ever posed to the Republic in 246 years. And listen to what Liz Cheney said just the other day on the, on the Deface the Nation show. Liz Cheney.
What happens with this committee if Republicans take the majority in 2022? Have you
it's a couple of years ago, but it's still relevant.
To keep it?
Look, Leader McCarthy has said a variety of things. He has both acted to obstruct the operations of the committee, but he's also on a couple of occasions said that he's willing to come talk to the committee. I think that the American people, again, and particularly the Republican Party, we as Republicans have a choice to make. I am a conservative Republican. I believe strongly in the policies of low taxes and limited government and a strong national defense. I think the country needs a strong Republican Party going forward, but our party has to choose. We can either be loyal to Donald Trump or we can be loyal to the Constitution, but we cannot be both. And right now, there are far too many Republicans who are trying to enable the former president, embrace the former president, look the other way and hope that the former president goes away, trying to obstruct the activities of this committee. But we won't be deterred.
All right. So this whole thing about loyalty, she's loyal to the Constitution and Trump must be stopped. She has said far worse. And I want to know, and I know this from her book, that she stayed in touch with Secret Service agents well past the time that they were working for her dad or protecting her. I need to know that stuff. And so do you. So do we all. Let's see here. Frank.
Hey, Greg, thank you for taking my call. Hey, I want to raise awareness about this CrowdStrike organization. You talk about not trusting the FBI, as do I. And let's just remember that the FBI tried to get the DNC server back from CrowdStrike, which is a privately owned company in the Ukraine. Yeah, red flags are going up, Greg. And they told the FBI no. They gave them only what they wanted them to see. Now, if you can imagine the FBI not having the power to get inside of the books, let's say, of a private organization, what power do they really have?
Hey, what about this? And it was suggested to me, and it makes a lot of sense. Look, Donald Trump's speech, I love the guy. It wasn't the perfect speech on Thursday night, but I cut him a lot of slack. Obviously, I love the guy, and he just got shot, and that was riveting some parts, but I thought it could be a little bit different. And the very next morning, what happens? People were expecting, a huge speech. They have this big outage, right? This outage, and yes. You can't send an email. Was that timed to screw up the coverage of what could have been the speech of the century? Yeah, very well.